Good evening, everyone. Let us quickly try to make the plan for tomorrow and let us see what are the support and resistances we have. We will start again from the monthly chart as we see that the monthly chart is pretty strong at this point, but we are just on the 5th day of August. So we do not know how the monthly chart is going to close, but at this point we are above the June low. At this point, this was low of June, the 5248.75 line. We went pretty much below that, and we got stuck on the February high. And from the February high, we have bounced back to the low of June and we are trying to get above. So if the bulls want to pick it up right now and they can get above the 5298 area, the 5300, I am thinking that we will get to the 5313 area, 530313 area, and post that above the 5313 level, it is highly possible that we get back to the 5363 to the 5368 area, which is the midpoint of this month of August. And then this 5405, 5432, these will be the different resistance areas as we keep moving to the top. On the downside, if we break down this 5247 area again and we hold this, there is a bigger possibility that we can come down to the 5122 lows again, break it down, and then start getting to this 5067 5050 areas. I will mark those lines at this point so that we know what is happening on the chart when the price decides to come down there. And here at this point I will put a range like this because this is a pretty small wick. That is all that we have on the monthly chart at this point. Let us look at the Ripster cloud for the 5 and 13 EMA. If you see there that we are just scraping below the 5 EMA mark at this point. So the 5 EMA mark on the monthly chart will be the 5323.75. If we see that we are getting rejected from there again, we will know that the market may want to come down back to 5300 and it may come down back to the 5244 areas, and that will help us gauge the direction of the market's movement. One more thing to notice is that before August started, our ATR was at 315 points, and we have already moved 480.75 points in this month. So it can actually start to get into a trading range at this point of time if it has overshot the ATR, but we never know, right? Since there are a lot of negative sentiments moving in the market, we can actually break it down. And if we break these down, there is a higher possibility that we can come and visit these areas at 5040. So as of now, there are no more information that is available on the monthly chart. I will save this monthly chart here and then we will see where we are on the weekly chart. Looking at the weekly chart, we see that this is the fourth week where we are trying to get red. But we have found support in this bull flag area and we are trying to go up. We will have to see if we can close above the open of the week or the low of the last week. Above that, we can get to the high of the week as well. We have to remember that this 5343 is the weekly trend, is the weekly EMA that we have here. And if we get above the weekly EMA, we can very much come to the close of last week. I will mark it as COLW here, and if we keep on going up, then 5387 will be the next area. If we get above this 5387 area, then the bulls may actually target this 5432 area, which will be the top of this channel here. It will connect with the channel at this point on this month. At the 5455 area. Above that, 5464 is the next resistance, and then we can try to get above to the 5496 area if we break out of this channel. But this is a very strong channel that we have, so be careful when you are trying to go long, especially when we are in this 20 EMA area. We need to be very careful, and also the fact that the ATR on the 5-minute charts are really big at this point. So any move in the wrong direction can actually set you back by 17 to 20 points at any point of time, because that is the size of the bars that we are having at this point of time, and it is very typical when you are in a kind of a bearish trend. So if this happens to be a pullback, maybe on the lower time frame, we'll get a wedge top somewhere. We will see where that wedge top is getting created, and based on that, we will have to decide. On the downside, we will see that if we are again getting below this 5233 line on the weekly chart, we may reach this 5207, all those generic areas that we have, the 5207, and then we can try and get to the low of this again. However, if you see, this was the fourth touch on this wedge line here. This was first, this was second, this was third, and this was fourth, and we bounced from there. So I will not be surprised if we are getting a pullback, and even if we come to the midpoint of the last week in the 5960 area, and then it starts falling back again. One more line that I will keep in mind is this 542021 line, which is the 50% of this whole drop. So it is also possible that the price comes up till that level at 5420 at some point during this week, and then we will see a further drop. Let us take a look at the ATR on the weekly chart. Till the previous week, the ATR was at 203 points, and this week we have already moved 220 points, so we are way above the ATR at this point. So it is highly possible that it will not make any more downward move lower than 5122. We may get into a trading range in this whole area. That is yet to be seen. We will find that out when we look at the charts again in the morning, and then decide on the trading plan. Let us now move on to the daily chart. So looking at the daily chart, we again had the first drop, the second drop, and this is the third drop. So this is the wedge structure that is getting created. So now there is a possibility that we get a two-legged move up. We have to remember that this 5357 line is again the 5 EMA on the daily chart. We will mark it there. So my idea is it can come here in this area between 5333 and 5343. In this area it may get rejected here again. Otherwise it may cross above that and come to this 5359 to the 5360 area that we saw on the weekly chart as well, and then start getting rejected from there. If we are still going up, Friday's close will also act as an area of resistance. If we can break out, then on the daily chart we may try to get to this 5429 5430 area again, and that was the breakout area that we had at this point, and we can sell off from there once again. On the downside, we will have to see if we get below this 5250 line. If we get below this 5250 line, the 5213 line may be a target, and then below that on the daily chart we may come down to this 5121 level again. But prior to that we will have multiple other supports that we will check it out on the lower time frame. If you also look at the ATR where we completed yesterday was at 181 points. So if you want to go 181 points right from the open of today, it can directly bring us to the 5433 area, right? And above that we will see whether we can get to the daily EMA, get rejected from there for a couple of legs down again. So that is what we have on the daily chart. Let us now get down to the 4-hour chart and see what we have there. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we had this very strong leg down. Now we have started a pullback. This was the first entry. This was the second entry. So we are in the second leg of this move. And I am expecting that this 5313 level, which is the 13 EMA on the 4-hour chart right now, they will reach that. Then we will see where the price wants to move. It can even get up to this level at 5331. I will put a line there. It can even get up to this level and then get rejected back, and as it starts coming down below the 13 EMA again, the 5313 line, that can actually be a good short or to the downside, and we may target again the 5 EMA at the 5249 line. Now that will depend on how the market has moved overnight and where the market has gone and stopped. If we get above this, we will mostly come to this area, which is 5380 to the 5342 area. If we cross above that, there is a high probability that we will be coming to the 5433 line, which has been a strong support, and then the breakdown, retest it, and then start the second leg down on the 4-hour chart. As of now, tomorrow morning we will be seeing whether we are forming a wedge on the 4-hour chart, whether the wedge is breaking out or the wedge is starting the reversal leg of this bear leg again. But this will be the primary area, the 5199 to the 5188 area. This is the area that I will look for price to break down, and then we can come down further to the 5120, the 5121 levels. Prior to that, this area may also work as a kind of support, because this was a 4-hour balance zone here which broke out and we got support at the same area. So even if we come down here, this 5209 to 5226, this area can have bulls again, and it may create a trading range in this whole zone. So we'll still have to see how the overnight traders in the London session and in the Asia session trade this, and where we are standing in the morning, and based on that we can take a call. Now, this is the 4-hour channel that we have at this point. There is a high possibility that we do not get over this and we start coming down and we come to the lows of this again. So we will have to see at what point of time we are getting a strong bearish signal. And if we start getting down below these levels, there's a very good chance that we'll revisit the low of today and then come down to these levels. On the upside, if we can get above this 5533 level, we can get to this bull flag that we had, and crossing above that, we may actually try and come to this double bottom breakout area. Now it gets interesting on the hourly chart, right? If you look here, we already have a wedge top that got created and we are getting rejected. We did not even get to that 5313 line. We will have to see what happens at the hourly EMA. So we will have to see how it behaves here around this wedge. If we are having a two-legged pullback and then we are trying to get above this again, the 5305 area, then we will again try to reach this 5313 target. Above the 5313, as we saw earlier, we will try to get to this 29243 area. And above that, this 5345 area will be another level of resistance, and if we can cross above that, we will be able to see somewhere in this area between 55 and 52, crossing which there is a possibility of getting back to 5375 and to this next balance zone on the hourly chart that we had. On the downside, again on the hourly chart, I will be interested in seeing that this area is breaking down. If this area is breaking down, we can come down to this level at 5159, breaking down of which we can get to this double bottom here. Remember, we have this double bottom here. If this double bottom breaks down, we can come down a lot farther, which is at the 5146.25. I will mark it as such. But there is a good possibility that even if we come down here, we can bounce from here and still go up. And that will give us the confidence that this is going to be a trading range. On the other side, if you see on the hourly chart, we do have a perfect head and shoulder structure here. And the target for the head and shoulder structure will be somewhere in this 5436 area. But for that, there are a lot of resistance areas that we need to break through, and also this 5280 line needs to hold, which is right above the high of today. If this line breaks down and if we keep coming down, then we may get to these levels again. But as long as this right shoulder level is not taken out, there is a good chance that the bulls can get above this 5313 and keep going up higher. Looking at the 5-minute chart, these are the different areas that we have of support and resistance. We have to keep in mind there's 200 EMA at the 5315.75 area. That's pretty far away, but still that is a very good area of support. If we can break above from there, we will come to this 5333 to the 5337 line. Above this, we can get into this expanding triangle that we had on Friday, but there is a big chance that we can get rejected from this area. This is a very strong area of confluence in our higher time frame charts as well. So even if we go there, we can get rejected from there, and then we will see whether it's breaking down the 200 EMA again and wants to come down to the 5280 line again. And if we fail this at this point of time, we can come down to the 5250. We will also need to keep in mind these micro gaps that we have on the 5-minute chart. They can still work as support and resistance areas. If we break this down, we can come down to the 5196 to the 5189 area. So that is a similar area that we saw on the 4-hour time frame. If we break that down, we will come to the 5183.25. This is the place where the bulls started buying seriously and we never broke down of that. If we come down below that, we can test this 5165 area again. I will keep that marked as well. That is the breakout of the bar 1 that we had today. Below that, we can come to the bottom of this bar 1, which was around 5145, and then after that we can have 5138 to 35 as the next support, 5121 to 17. This was the low of today on the ETA chart, failing which we can come to 5105, 5094, and then subsequently to the 5082 to the 5079 area. So that is what we have at this point of time. If you see, we had a kind of a head and shoulder structure, but at the ETHR, which is sitting at 5286.25, that head and shoulder structure has been invalidated, and we may actually be targeting to get above with that hourly inverted head and shoulder structure that we have. So again, we will see tomorrow morning where the price stands with respect to all the support and resistance areas, and we'll take our call from there. If you want to join that call, the link to the Google Meet is given in the description below. Along with that, you will have the link to our free Discord server and the Facebook page. You are very welcome to join there. Along with that, you will also find the links to all these multi-time frame charts that we have been discussing. And as always, please like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the notification icon. And I'll see you guys again at 8:45 a.m. EST in the Google Meet as given in the description below. Till then, have a great night, everyone. Bye.